Hello? Yeah. My name is Mary. I'm from Magdalene. When I first met Jesus, I was lost. Tormented is the best way to describe how I felt. But meeting him changed my life. He gave me a peace for the first time in years, and he gave me a purpose. Even though I was a woman, I became a disciple. I joined the other women and supported his ministry. I watched as he impacted the lives of person after person as they found his love. Then, when I watched him on that cross, I thought my heart was going to break. I didn't know how this could have happened to the man that changed my life. And I didn't know what was going to happen next. The time from that dark, dark Friday to that Sunday morning, it seemed so long. Me and the other women, we wanted to do one last act of worship to our King and anoint his body with spices. So it was early in the morning, it was still dark, and we took our spices to the garden tomb. I could hardly believe my eyes when the massive stone had been rolled away and the tomb was empty. I dropped everything and I ran as fast as I could to tell the disciples. It was hard to run, I was crying and I could barely breathe. What had they done with his body? Wasn't it enough that they had tortured him and killed him in such a horrific way that they to take his body as well? No. I quickly told the disciples, and John and Peter, they bolted out of there so quickly I could barely keep up. I followed them back to the tomb as they investigated the inside, and they found that it was just as I told them. Like, it was empty, and the grave clothes, well, they were neatly folded. I couldn't leave. And as I was stood there, 2 angels appeared, and they asked me why I was crying. Well, they've taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him. As I turned, I saw a gardener, and he too asked me why I was crying. I begged him to tell me where they'd put the body. And in that moment, he said to me, "Mary." I immediately recognized this voice. It was the voice of my Rabboni, my teacher, my Jesus. He was standing there, right in front of me. My body almost gave way in shock and joy. I wanted to hold on to him. Here he was, the one who had changed my life, was back from the dead. I could not believe it. Yet at the same time, I knew it was true. And suddenly, all he had been saying and doing, well, it made sense. He wasn't just a teacher. He was the Lord. My joy was complete. I ran to tell the others, and to be honest, I have not been able to stop telling people ever since. He had chosen me to tell others, and he had chosen me and changed my life. I mean, how could I keep that to myself?
Hello? My name is Thomas. I've always been someone to ask a lot of questions and not take it from the word of everyone else. And you see, when I heard that Jesus was taken by one of our friends and betrayed, well, it just seemed like the start of the end. The whole city came out to see his execution. There was no way a human being could survive Roman's form of punishment, which is crucifixion. When Jesus died on the cross, so did my hopes and dreams of a bright future. I just hoped somehow his life would account for something. So when the disciples started saying, he's back, well, I just found it hard to believe. And I wondered, why not me? Why hasn't he appeared to me? Maybe they were just hallucinating or something. Well, I just needed hard evidence. Well, about a week went by. I still hadn't seen him, and we all gathered around the house. And suddenly, he was there. He knew I doubted him and he offered me to touch his wounds. When I reached out to him, he didn't reject me. I was amazed. All I could do was submit my heart to him and shout, "My Lord, my God." Suddenly, all my questions faded away in the presence of Jesus. He wasn't just a good teacher and a miracle worker. He overcame death. All I could do is bow to my knees and acknowledge who he is. For Lord, for God. You see, when you met the risen Jesus, all you can do is give your life to him.
My name is Peter. Jesus had been so good to me, giving me purpose and meaning in my life. He'd invested so much time in me and seen me as a rock. The truth was, when push came to shove, I wasn't much of a rock. I was weak. I had all these big statements like, "I will follow you unto death." But when it came to it, he was right. He looked me straight in the eye and told me that I would deny him. And even though he knew this, he still loved me and died for me. And there I was, not having lost my best friend, but the leader of my life. I had abandoned him in his darkest hour, and not just denied him once, but 3 times. I was hopeless and helpless. I was devastated at my loss, but also so full of shame for my failure. I just wanted an opportunity for one last conversation to make this right. Then on that Sunday morning, when Mary came in and said they had taken Jesus' body, I ran as quick as I could and saw the empty tomb. A glimmer of hope rose in my heart, but I still wasn't sure, and I was worried about where his body was. When Mary came back again a little later and said she had seen the Lord, I could not believe my ears. I was so excited, but at the same time wondered whether he would want to appear to me. I had sinned, I had failed, and I was ashamed. However, I had seen Jesus forgive me again and again when I put my foot in it and spoken rashly. I had seen him forgive people who others would not even give the light of day. Could I believe that he could forgive me? Could I be his disciple again? Then, a little while later, I went fishing. I had to do something familiar. Jesus had been appearing to people, and I knew he was alive, but would I be able to make things right with him? We fished all night and caught nothing, and then this guy shouts from the shore and says to fish on the other side. And so we did. And wow, a miraculous catch of fish. This had happened before, when a stranger had given us the same instruction. Then John recognized the man on the shore as Jesus. And in a moment, without thinking, I jumped in the water and I swam to shore. I was so excited to see him. In no time at all, myself and the others had made a fire and were eating breakfast together. Then the moment came, a time when he would talk to me personally. I looked into the fire, slightly ashamed to let our eyes meet. And in that moment, I was able to reaffirm my love for him. In that moment, Jesus not only forgave me, but he restored me. I didn't deserve it at all, but he still wanted me to serve his people. He still saw the potential in a failure like me. I was able to lift my eyes once again, and in doing so, I met the risen Jesus. In doing so, I met love and grace himself. I was forgiven, healed, restored, my hope renewed, and ready to serve.